Hello and welcome to the LDV Podcast. My name is David Maldo, and everyone I talk to continues to ask me about huddle rooms and team spaces. Now, it just so happens my friends and sponsors at VDO360 sent me their latest product, the TeamCam, which is designed for those spaces, so I thought we'd take a quick look at it. Now, there's a lot under the hood here, but in my mind, the two things that make it really ideal for these small spaces are the low price point and the wide field of view. You see, in the typical huddle room, if you have a laptop or a webcam, you can't really see the people on the sides of the table close to the camera. So a wider field of view is a great way to solve this. Now, there's a lot more going on here, so I thought I'd have a quick chat with the guys from VDO360 to find out a bit more. So thanks so much for joining me here today. Can you guys please introduce yourself to my audience, starting with you, Mike?
Sure. Michael Baker. I'm the VP of Sales for VDO360.
And Dan?
And hi, I'm Dan Freeman. I'm the CEO, kind of techie guy, the founder of VDO360.
The man who makes it all work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've just been playing with your new TeamCam, and I've been a fan of your cameras for a while. I've always talked about how I love the form factor. So what makes the TeamCam different?
Michael?
Well, I think the TeamCam has been set up for several things. First of all, the price is right for the industry. It's a $389 MSRP. It is a camera that we like to talk about team rooms. Huddle room kind of gives me a feeling of being at a football game where one guy tells me everything that I'm going to do. So I like team rooms better because team tells me that we're going to work together to create a solution to a problem. As we get more and more team type environments coming into the corporate world or into education for training and what have you, we find that a lot of people like to work around a table. This camera is designed for that with a 90-degree field of view. We do have 3x zoom lens on the camera. And now we're talking about a very powerful little camera that can be used in a closed environment with 3 or 4 people, still being able to get the people in and being able to see them with no distortion on the edges. So I think the TeamCam is a very, very powerful little camera in the PTZ marketplace. Dan, you want to add anything?
Yeah, actually, when we designed it, one of the things I've always hated about digital zoom cameras, I fought it for a while too, was the pixels getting bigger. So rather than playing with that, we started with an 8 megapixel sensor. So we have a very oversized sensor for 1080p output, which is what we have. So when you zoom in with the 8 megapixel sensor, you don't lose any of the resolution when you zoom in. From everything I've been seeing, I've been lucky to have some tours of some really cool buildings. And the type of rooms that I'm seeing in those spaces are these smaller team rooms. They're the D table with the screen at one end, or maybe even just a round table shoved in a room, and you got a monitor on the wall. There's a lot of times these team rooms are an afterthought, but they can be actually a real powerful thing if used correctly.
Yeah, as an analyst, that is the future of video conferencing. That is the market that we're looking to hit now. I mean, the conference rooms will always be important. That's where the big meetings happen, and people need to be able to video into them. But we have products. We've had products for a while to serve that. And of course, desktop and mobile is important. But we have webcams and everything else. We're fine on the desktop. And it's these in-between rooms where a webcam doesn't cut it, because with the webcam, and even the webcam manufacturers will tell you, it's not for meeting rooms. You really do have to huddle to get everyone in view on a webcam. But you also don't need a CEO boardroom setup for thousands and thousands of dollars for these little spaces. But we do need to equip them. I've been talking to organizations where they've gotten rid of all the offices. From the CEO on down, they're in these open spaces, and being in an open space is great, but sometimes you need to get into a little room and get some work done. And they're equipping all these rooms with video. And unfortunately, some of them are doing it wrong and putting in laptops, and everyone really is huddling and not having a great experience. So we need something in the middle. And I guess that's what this TeamCam is for.
Yeah, well, I'm on the TeamCam right now in my office. Generally speaking, I would be back a little further, but as you can see, it's got a nice wide field of view. and it works fine. It creates a great picture, and it's an easy camera to set up. It's a 2-connection plug-in and plug into the side of your PC or into the room PC, and you're there. You're operational.
You know, and if I may, one of the things too with the smaller room does need to have the ability to pan the camera around, pan and tilt the camera around, because there's so often there'll be, maybe that wall is just one big giant whiteboard and you want to be able to go over and look at that wall. The webcams or even some of these 180-degree panoramic view cameras, they're great, but they don't really move like a human eye does. And if you notice when Michael was moving that camera around, it pans smooth. It pans comfortably.
And quiet.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's quiet. One of our things that we've always been proud of is our camera motors. They are the quietest and smoothest in the industry for sure. It's the TeamCam in particular is a really interesting product in that there's really no reason not to have one of these in every small conference room.
And I appreciate you not calling it the huddle cam or the VDO huddle or the huddle something, because we have enough huddle on the market, and I'm starting to get confused. So calling it team, and I agree with the philosophy that we really don't want to be cuddling and huddling. We want to be working as a team. But if anyone out there is confused, this is the product for your huddle room, if that's what you're calling it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And one more point on what you're saying about the quietness of it. One thing I've always loved about it, and I think this is maybe becoming less important as people are getting more and more comfortable being on video. But in the past, and still today to some extent, some people are a little shy. And they have something that looks like a big glass eye that's staring at you, and if every time you move it goes, wah, it's going to distract people, and they'll be thinking about how do I look instead of what I'm talking about. And not only the motors, but the appearance of it. I've always said it looks like a Pixar cartoon. Even when you plug it in, it kind of does a little dance and wakes up.
Yep.
I think that stuff makes a big difference.
Yeah, we intentionally designed that way, David. It's intentionally designed to be a comfortable device to use. When I was training people how to use video conferencing, you've heard me talk about this before. It was so often that people would have uncomfortable experience just with the camera pointing at them. They're not even on video. The camera's just pointing in their direction. If you're uncomfortable with something, you're not going to use the technology. Or if you're going to have to be pushed into use it, be forced into use it. If you're comfortable with it, it's going to be easy to use, and people will want to be in the room because people will stop thinking about themselves being on camera and be more worried about what they're doing. Like you said, we want people to participate and be involved with video conferencing, visual collaboration. You know, this takes a team.
And it's solid metal with the I saw the laser engraving on it.
Yeah.
So it looks like a quality piece of equipment in your room. Despite being affordable, it isn't a compromise.
Well, it's not a consumer grade device. It is enterprise grade. And by that, I don't mean that a consumer can't use it. I mean that it's a device that can be used constantly, on and on and on, and then just will always be working for you. We've run these things through quality assurance checks over and over and over again, and they just run steady and they run strong. Anything
I forgot to ask you? Anything our viewers should know about the TeamCam?
Well, other than it's available about everywhere, and seriously, at $389, there's really no excuse not to use it. It comes with the cables that you need to hook it up. It comes with a mount, so you can mount it up on top of your monitor. IR remote, presets. It'll do preset camera control positioning, and it does work with our flare system. So if you have a position that you want to hit that you use all the time, let's say, we talked about whiteboard a little earlier. Let's say you have your whiteboard over on the right-hand side of the room. Well, you take one of your presets and you move your camera to that. Then you take one of our flare buttons, you mount that on the wall, and you just walk over, you hit that button, and the camera just zips right over.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
Now,
it's a
yeah, one of the reasons
one button remote control. Yeah.
that's a great solution because, well, first of all, I love the remote control because there's not a lot of buttons on it.
Right.
People get scared of these crazy remote controls without a lot of buttons. I know how to work an up, down, left, right wheel. And the only other thing is the presets. And I love the idea of presets because a lot of times in the meeting, people don't want to bother with the controls. If they know one goes to the whiteboard, just hit one.
Yep.
But that flare thing you're telling me that's even better because there's some people that might not even want to use the presets, but anyone can walk over to whiteboard and hit a button and the camera just points to them.
Exactly. And
That
you can do up to 4 of those flare buttons in a room.
nice.
And they are just a one button remote control. That's how simple they are.
And that's sold separately from the camera itself.
Yeah, that's sold separately.
Okay, and we can find out more about everything at VDO360.com.
Yes, please come on by. Yeah.
All right, great. All right, well, thanks so much for joining me here today, guys. And let me know how things develop. You guys come out with something new like every few months, it seems. So I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Oh, I've got some good stuff coming. Excellent.
All right, I'll be calling you.